Hey guys, so we've got a simple shop improvement project behind me right here. This is an aluminum cover box that I had D&D Welding fab up for me. This is something that I've had on my mind for quite a while, and we finally got them to, I got the measurements to them and they fabbed it up for me. So let me jump in here and just show you right what we're doing. So just a simple aluminum cover box is all this is. All right, we've got a flange at the top. I've got to put some mounting holes in the upper flange, probably a couple mounting holes in that lower flange. And this surface up here is just simply going to be a flat surface to put maybe toolboxes or cutting tools, some organizing toolboxes, something like that. But this is going to be a cover box, and I'm going to walk down here and show you where this is going. It is going to be covering up this water spigot right here and this hot water heater. I think they're both kind of ugly and don't really fit well behind the shop, especially when we're over here on the pacemaker and we're making videos and you see this behind it. Now I really don't use this right here, so I'm gonna unplug it so that it's not running. The hot water heater, obviously we use whenever we wash our hands. That's the main purpose, so that you got some warm water to wash your hands with. But you can see how it's just kind of ugly out here. I really don't like this. I don't understand why the plumbers that built this place did it like they did right here, but it's extremely ugly. So my idea was just to cover it up with an aluminum box, and that's what we're gonna do. So it'll just simply pull up against that wall. This wall right here was made with plywood behind the drywall there, so we'll have a good backing to pull the flange up against. And if I need to, if we need some extra support, we'll put a couple of concrete screws in the bottom flange to secure it against the floor. Whenever I give the drawing to Joe, my initial layout was having the flange on the outside here and have a couple bolts on either side, but I told him I wanted to stack some material up here. So I believe he came up with this design so that this broken edge here actually gives this some support up top there. So I'm sure he built this much stronger than what I had designed, but I just drew down a box with a couple flanges on it for it to sit down on the concrete. So it looks like it's basically it's made out of, I guess, 3 pieces. You got this one main piece here, and you got the side there. You got either side with the edge broken up. So it should be good for what it's going to be used for. Like I said, just a cover, place to set some toolboxes up here, so that'll work good. And that'll sure look a lot cooler there than a water spigot and hot water heater. So I wanted to make sure I show this. I went ahead and took the cover panel off. We have shut off the water, turned the water valve closed, and we have unplugged it from service there. Before I put any holes in, I just wanted to check the fit here and make sure that it is going to fit. I think it's going to fit like a glove, actually. Yes, sir. That's going to be nice right there. That's it. I don't even know with the 2 at the top, I don't know if we'll need it. The way he's got that rear flange broke is that once you pull it up with a couple screws, it's going to kind of draw the bottom end tight. So I think that's going to be good. So it's just a shelf. We might put maybe we'll put a piece of rubber or something up here, I'm not sure, and then have a place where we can set some, I was thinking possibly drill and tap storage, maybe get some of those Hewitt organizing toolboxes they make for taps and drills and put those up here. So go ahead and get a couple holes drilled in there and get this thing mounted up. All right, we got our holes drilled and deburred. We are ready. It's a close fit with those inner flanges, but it's a good fit. Try to line up there where I hit that drywall, just like that right there. Okay. So this didn't go as expected right there. I don't know why I didn't get into wood, because I know this wall right here was lined with like OSB board, but it just went right through drywall and into empty space. So I don't know what's going on there on how that happened. So I think if we're gonna mount it here right where it's sitting, especially since I got a hole there, I'm just trying to think of my other options here. I could probably just run down to the hardware store and get some of those drywall anchors, those big plastic screws that you screw into the drywall, and then you put a screw through that into that, and that's probably, it'll probably work just as good. So that may be what we do here. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I think this looks much nicer here instead of seeing a water faucet and an ugly water heater there. Just a nice, more industrial look, professional industrial look covering it up. And we have a nice flat surface now that we can use for some tool storage along the wall right here. Got the 2 lags up there holding it. I did not put any anchors in the bottom, but we may add those later. I've got some of those concrete screws at the other shop. But it feels nice and solid just the way it is right there now. Doesn't move around or anything, but we may add those later on. So that's looking real nice. And then we'll come over here. See, when we're over here at the lathe, as we're doing our work here, that looks so much nicer than what we were seeing. So I'm glad that we got that fixed up. I do have some of my decimal charts that I'm wanting to put on the wall right there. So I may get those hung here pretty soon. I've actually got a few that I want to put along this wall on both sides there that I've been, you know, kind of holding on to put in the right place. And I think this is going to be a perfect spot, because I am thinking about maybe our taps. Maybe our taps can go right there, and then we'll have our tap charts up there on the wall there as well. Finally got one of our A-bomb banners hung on the wall. I think it looks good right there. And I might be putting some of my decimal charts to either side of it. I'm trying to figure out which ones I want to go up there now. But excited to show you that. I just used some of those command hooks up there and some Velcro to hold it up against the drywall. All right, so we're working on that. I'm also working on, we just installed this, and I'm thinking about taking these 2 charts. These are a couple charts that Greenfield Industries give to me. And they're double-sided, so one side is your decimal equivalent, and you flip it over and you have the tap drill chart on the back right there, see? So I think I'm going to use 2 of them, one for the decimal and one for the tap drill chart, and put them right here high on the wall. I'm going to bring them up a little bit just in case I get some of those tool organizing boxes to go up here for drills and taps. So I think I'm going to put a couple of those up there, but I still want to put some of my vintage charts up here on the wall as well, and I'll show you some of those here in a second. I've also got this guy, KBC Tools give me. I don't know if they make this one anymore. It looks kind of vintage, but they had this one rolled up in the milling machine when I got it, so I'm thinking about maybe putting it right here. It's got a lot of good useful info as well. It's got your metric sizes and your tap drill chart there. But I love the colors, the red and the yellow and the blue. It looks really good, so we may put that right there. I also have one of their banners. I'm thinking about maybe putting their banner right there. I've got several banners that, you know, eventually, once I get all my banners organized and I figure out what I want to put some up on the walls there. So, you know, just some cool stuff for the walls to kind of decorate it a little bit. Well, let me show you something else. I'm gonna move right over here. And I'm getting some of my decimal charts out, lined up. This is some of my collection right here. A lot of you guys probably know that I love collecting decimal charts and tap drill charts, and these are part of my collection right here. So I've been going through them, trying to decide which ones I want to hang on the wall. I definitely want to hang some on the wall. I'm just trying to pick out which ones I want to start with. And we've got plenty of wall space. So I'm not going to throw everything up at one time, but I'm going to pick out a couple that I want to hang on the wall. And I'm not sure. I love the Union card charts right here. These are just beautiful. This is probably one of my favorite ones because it's got the nice cutters on there. That's a really desired chart right there. I love the classic Cleveland twist drill charts. I love the old Cleveland logo right there. So I might hang this one up there as well. It's kind of a nice vintage look to go along with the new ones. But Put a couple of these guys maybe up on that wall there, maybe a couple more on the other side, and then we'll have room somewhere along these other walls to put some more charts as well. We got our very first decimal chart up on the wall, and we're getting ready to put the second one up here. So I'm just using these command strips here, the Velcro. This is what they look like. In case you haven't seen these, you take two of them and stick them together. Stick one on your picture or whatever you're gonna hang. Peel the back off and then just push it against the wall. Just apply a little pressure. Works real good on drywall. Keeps you from having to put a bunch of holes in there. So we'll get this one hung next. We got a 2-inch spacing going on here. I got a machinist square on this side that just as a visual for the side of the box here. Line up with that machinist square. That should put us close enough anyway. Eyeball measurements is good enough. Got a couple of little marks on the wall. Great thing about this Velcro though is if you don't get it square level, you can always pull it off and move it some. And then once you get the top, then you can go ahead and pull the backing off on the bottom ones here. I'm just going to do one at a time. Pull it down kind of taut. Stick it on. Got two more of my charts hung up here on this side. Decided to go with the Morse tap drill chart on the left side there and our Union card division decimal chart here on this side. That's looking pretty good there. On around the corner, I went ahead and put up my KBC banner there, the KBC chart, and of course we already got our Greenfield Industries charts down there. So starting to make the walls look a little bit more colorful here in the shop. All right guys, so while I'm getting some things hung up on the wall, I wanted to show you a couple of viewer gifts that was sent to me a couple months back. I've been hanging on these, I'm kind of waiting for the right opportunity to bring them out, show them to you, and tell you who sent them in and the plans that we may have for these flags right here. So we have two United States flags that were given to me by a couple of my viewers. Back whenever I was showing that we had the walls painted in here, I had mentioned that I might try to get a flag and hang it up on here and add some color, some character to this one big wall over here. So that's when I had a couple people reach out and said, hey, I've got a flag that you can have if you'd like it. And they sent them on, and we may be hanging these guys up. So we'll start with this guy right here. This one's still folded up. I don't know quite how big this one is, but I think it's going to be a pretty good size flag right here. So we'll start with this. This one was sent to me by Michael Butts. I believe he is in the U.S. Navy. He didn't specify, just know that he is a military man. And he says that this flag here was flown over the U.S. Navy minesweeper ceremonially. And he planned on hanging it up one day, and he never had a place for it. But anyway, he loves the content and he wanted to contribute, so he wanted to send this flag to me. So Michael, thank you very much. This one may very well be the one that we hang over here on this big wall. Since this one is so large, it's going to take up a lot of space, and we may end up hanging this one vertically there right in the middle of the wall. So I got to get it unfolded and just see how big it is, maybe take some measurements and see if we got room to put it on the wall there. All right, but regardless, whether we use these right now or not, I'm still hanging on to these and they will be put to use, okay? All right, the second flag right here. This one's more of a cloth material, where this one has sort of that canvas, type of feel to it. So this one right here was sent to me by Peter Hartley, and he's from Cornwall over in the UK. And he also sent me this electrical pocketbook that was made in 1913. It's very cool. It's got some really cool information in there. It's got some neat advertisements right there on the first couple of pages. So neat stuff. He just thought that I would like that, which I do. I love these old classic books, and I have a nice collection of them at home. He also sent me this ruler. He says that this one belonged to his father, and he believes it's from the 1950s. Harris, MP Harris and Company. That's the ruler there. So, Peter, thank you very much for the flag. Like I said, if I end up hanging this one over here on this big wall, we'll certainly save this one and put it to use at some point. It could be one that we can hang inside the office in there behind the desk or something like that. I'm not sure. But anyway, I wanted to share my thanks to both these guys for being so generous and sending me these really nice U.S. flags to hang here in the shop. So there's a job that just showed up. We got a seized up shaft in this. This is an outboard used as a tiller motor here. And the gear shifter here, this is the new gear shifter, the shaft was froze up inside there. They cannot get it to come out. So they brought it to me and asked me, is this something that I could help them do? So shaft froze up. We got to try to get this guy out of there, and we've got a replacement so we don't have to worry about messing this one up. Now they've already been trying to remove it. They've hit it on this side, but it doesn't actually go through that way. It has to come out this side. There's a look on the inside, so it sticks through there. So I think what I'm going to start with, since I'm in the middle of another job right now, I'm going to go ahead and use some of my penetrating oil and start spraying that down in here. There's also that tapped hole right there. He says that's a grease fitting hole, so I guess you can grease it. So we'll be able to spray some of our penetrating oil down in there and just let it kind of sit for a while I'm working on the other job and see if that'll help break it loose. But might have to use a little bit of heat on this as well and see if we can get it loose. I might have to make up some kind of like a snatch hammer, maybe drill the end, drill and tap it and attach something to it so we can maybe try to snatch it out. That's what we need. We need a slide hammer. I don't actually have a slide hammer, something I need to add to my tool inventory here, but we'll make something up and see. So this will be another project that we'll be working on here. All right, we're going to give the knocker loose a try. I'll just keep doing that every so often to make sure that we keep some sprayed down in that hole. We've got this thing set up here at the welding table, just got it kind of fixtured up to hold it. And we've been spraying some penetrating oil in there. So first thing I want to try, let's put some localized heat right in it. The pin's right here where these vice grips are. And I want to put some heat right in here and see if that does anything to help break this bond loose. I know that it's all growed together. It's got corrosion in there and it's just stuck. So let's try that. I'm going to go ahead and run my fume extractor just because it's probably going to make some smoke from this penetrating oil. This is aluminum, or I'm going to assume that it's aluminum, so we got to be careful not to overheat it, cause it to melt. And I think that right there is already going to give me some problems because that's acting like it's plastic, some kind of plastic bushing right there, trying to burn on me. We'll put some heat on the pin to see if it'll work its way down in there instead of putting it all right in that area. That's the paint that's burning. All right, I got some movement. I think I got it moving now.
Turn the torch off.
Need to be able to hit on it. I can't really get in there with a hammer. Just gonna see if I can keep pulling on it. I don't know if I can get in there with a small ball peen, maybe. Just knocking the pliers off of it. It's coming little by little. That's not really the ideal spot to be hitting on it. I think what we might do is let's warm it up again and see if maybe that'll help release it. I think it's hung up on them O-rings. A little bit further, not much. Still working with it. I just keep trying to rotate this thing back and forth, and I can finally see the first O-ring groove right there peeking its head out. So I'm just going to keep working it like I'm doing. I think I've got it coming very slowly. And just keep working it, trying to break that O-ring loose. Really trying to get it out using this manner instead of having to resort to making other tools to try to get it out, because this is really a time-sensitive thing. Not only is this rush, I think he said you can buy this thing for $800, and I told him, I said, you know, I can't help how much time you have on this kind of stuff. It might take a couple hours to work on something like this, easily 2 hours. Man, it's like it'll move a few thousandths and then it just hangs up again. I thought we were getting somewhere. Come on, baby. Ugh. It's coming out. There we go. Persevered. That's it right there. Man, All right, that makes me feel so much better now that we got that thing out of there and didn't have to drill on it, tap on it, weld on it, make a special tool. This right here is just whatever the coating is. You know, the powder coating is, that's not the aluminum, that's just the coating of the motor there. So let me get the other handle and see if that thing, see if it fits in there. Man. Just want to try to blow the gunk out of that hole there. Wow, that's not good. Not even the same part. Look at that. That is not good right there. That is a different diameter pin. Somebody give him the wrong part. I don't know if they can give him the right part, but that's definitely not going in there. But anyway, so much for that right there, trying it. You can tell it's basically the same thing, but it's a different size and length than what he had in there. So I guess my job is done. I got the pin out of it anyway. So luckily that didn't, I probably got an hour between talking to him, bringing it in, setting it up in this jig and playing with it, trying to get it out. Probably got about an hour wrapped up into this right here. So I'll call him and let him know this guy is, the pin's out anyway. So I think I figured out why we had a hard time getting the pin out. It's actually because it's bent. It may be hard for you to see in the video, but this end here is actually bent. There was probably so much pressure trying to put on this thing to get it to move with the lever that it just bent it. And I think that's why I can't stick it in there, see? It's just because the rod is bent. So I'm hoping maybe he can get the right handle, but all I'm gonna do is just very quickly, let's just clean that bore up very lightly. I'm gonna use this homemade flapping tool right here. There's a 1/4 inch rod, and I just messed it all up. So let me redo this. Just a 1/4 inch rod with a slit cut in it with a hacksaw. Just wrap a piece of emery around it. See all that corrosion? I can still see a little bit in there. Let me hit it again. This is a 10mm hole, by the way. All right, I think that should be good. All right. I think our job is done here. Get it unclamped and I'll give them a call, let them know he can come pick this thing up. Hopefully they can source him the right handle for this thing and he can get it on his boat. He says that they are trying to get out on the water with it like in a day. So anyway, our job is done now. Well, there she is, guys, in all of her glory. I decided to use the US flag that Michael Butts sent to me and give to me. And there she is. I think it looks fantastic. I think it's gonna work great in here. And it just about fills up that entire wall vertically. So I've got it hung as high as I can get right there, try to get it nice and level. And it's almost touching the floor, but not quite. We still got a few inches right there. There is a few wrinkles in it just from being folded up for so long. I think after maybe hanging for a week or two, those should kind of work themselves out. And it's beautiful already, just the way it is. Such a great looking flag. I'm so thankful to have it here in the shop. So Michael, thank you once again for that. That is such a awesome gift, and I'm proud to display it here in the shop. And it's gonna look good on the wall there. I did want to mention a couple other things about this flag. I went back to a couple of my messages that Michael had sent me, and me and him just kind of went through the Patreon message in there over the past several months talking. And he did mention that this flag was flown on 2 U.S. Navy ships there. So the first one, as we had previously mentioned, was the USS Minesweeper, and that was stationed in Bahrain, and that's where this flag flown there. He said it was a ceremonial flag. All right, and then the second ship that this flag was flown on was the USS Chief MCM-14. I'm not exactly sure what kind of ship that is. I didn't look it up, but it is the USS Chief MCM-14, and that was stationed in San Diego. So, I mean, that is just so cool to have a flag that has traveled around the world, that it was used by the U.S. military and flown on Navy ships and used in ceremonies. You know, it's one thing to, you know, have an American flag and hang it, but it's another thing to have such a unique flag from a U.S. Navy ship hanging in your shop. And I just can't thank Michael enough for his donation here to the shop, and also thank him for his service that he provides to this country. It's very cool. So, Michael, anytime you come through town, you're welcome to stop by and see it hanging. That was the only thing that he requested, is that whenever he's driving through town, he wanted to stop and say hello and see the flag hanging in the shop. So let me know when you want to come by. You're welcome anytime, all right? Very cool. So before I lose you here, I wanted to mention a couple other things that we're going to be working on very soon here in the shop. I've mentioned a couple times in the past a shop air system, and that is going to be starting to be installed very soon. I had planned on getting some video of that. So I have been working directly with Kaiser and Air Power Systems, which is here in town. They're the authorized dealer. They're the ones that's going to be helping me with the install of this system. And I plan on getting some video of that and going over. We're going to be using the Kaiser aluminum piping system, and we're going to be going with one of the Kaiser air towers. It's a one of the rotary screw type compressors, super quiet, energy efficient, and it'll be here in the shop, and it won't bother us whenever we're doing some machine work. But I've been real excited to kind of be able to announce that to you, and it's going to be happening real soon. They're planning on being here this week to begin the install, and I'll have the camera and we'll go over that system whenever it happens, all right? So that's it. We're going to get out of here. Hopefully you enjoyed. Thank you again, Michael, for the awesome U.S. flag. It looks great in here, and man, I'm just so happy right now. We will see you guys later, all right?